Before I call the Honourable Catherine Cusack, I just wanted to welcome a few people to my gallery. First of all, Chris Crawford, Catherine's husband. Tasman Brown, Catherine's long-term staffer. And the Honourable Dr Phelps, a former member of this place. So thank you all for coming along, and it's good to see you here this evening. And Catherine, if you're ready, we might let you close proceedings tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr President. Thank you, Mr President. Thank everybody for being here. Well, the wise ones amongst us are all very respectful of the division timer on the clerk's table. It seems so slow, then those last grains of sand rapidly run out. And so suddenly this is my final contribution in this place that I've worked in and loved for 40 years. I have, of course, reflected at length on those experiences, and the most overwhelming emotion is that of gratitude for the opportunities and the trust placed in me, especially these past 19 years as a member of the Legislative Council. I am so appreciative to taxpayers for my salary and allowances. I have travelled millions of kilometres, met tens of thousands of citizens at thousands of meetings. Our personal mandates as elected MPs are quite complex, and as the Honourable Walt Secord is fond of saying, I dance with the one who brung me. So our party affiliation is an overriding consideration, but it ought not be at the expense of our sacred oath to serve the public interest. Those citizens, mostly on lower and insecure incomes, who elect us, pay us and trust us. And honouring this profound contract with citizens is something I have never lost sight of. It is up to others to judge if I gave them good value, but I know I can look at myself in the mirror, believing that I have tried, and to the public, I really say thank you. The Parliament is an institution that I am in as awe of today as I was on the day of my first visit as a young Liberal doing voluntary research in the Parliamentary Library. Back in that day, the crime of buggery was still on the criminal code. A Labor Minister for Corrective Services was himself in prison for taking bribes. Donald Mackay had vanished along with Juanita Nilsson. Women were fighting for their rights, and the New South Wales Government owned and operated uniform factories, laundries, coal mines and banks. Many rivers were little better than sewers, and the Water Board was still trying to disentangle our sewerage and drainage systems because of the preponderance of raw sewage regularly closing Sydney beaches. So I have cherished this place, which has been the engine room powering so much reform in New South Wales and change. I learnt many years ago never to say, I have seen it all, because New South Wales politics never fails to surprise. Almost all of it dramatic. I have seen the best and worst of humanity, and to be here as a witness or a participant is truly to fathom the wonder of democracy and appreciate its great guardians, the clerks and the professional staff in this building. I really thank them so much. Hansard, committee staff, attendants, all so passionate about the procedures which have been passed to us over generations to ensure courteous assistance to members, but always so careful and so determined to faithfully fulfil the conventions that protect the impartiality and the legitimacy of this Parliament. The Strangers' Dining Room is bookended by two remarkable tapestries called City Tree and Country Tree, and I urge members, if you're not already, to familiarise yourselves with their story. The trunks are democracy and the branches designate the various parliaments. There are no leaves because the leaves are the members, and this is the humbling message in its design, that we are transitory, we are visitors, and our individual importance is insignificant in the scheme of democracy. So for me, the message is to remember your duty, to use your time well, and never forget that the sun comes up every day on this building, whether I am in it or not. I have for sure had disappointments, but the silver lining has been to experience some extraordinary kindness at unexpected moments by parliamentary colleagues and their staff across party lines. So Liberal and National colleagues, but also people I have spent my career fighting in Parliament as a professional politician, have reached out and picked me up for no reason except that they're actually quite beautiful and caring people, which is a side of politics that nobody sees, but it has meant a great deal to me. I do hope to write about you one day. I need to mention my enduring friendship with the Honourable Melinda Pavey. We are women far-flung from Sydney in male party cultures, raising our young children, and so of course our circumstances connect us. But it's been an incredible friendship, and I want to say I love you, Mel, and thank you. And also my great friend Mel Gibbons. Mel et Mel, you are both awesome. When I was dropped in 2011 and absolutely floundering, Amanda Fazio approached me to run for chair of Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians. All of the female MPs in this parliament flocked in behind the idea, and that role, which I was elected to, was such a privilege and an amazing experience. I do thank all of the women MPs who supported me, and I am your best and most zealous advocate. I will never forget you or let you down. The women who actually care and support other women totally raise the bar for me. They want nothing in return but my best efforts for the cause, and this is the kind of team that I crave to serve. Mr President, I got a bit down when I nominated for Government Whip and initially had the numbers and got pretty excited about being an officer in this chamber. It was already clear the ambitious young men in the government kind of didn't see a role for me, but I hoped that here in the upper house I might have some opportunities. I suppose that was naive, because the backlash was so severe. Anyway, people were prevailed upon to change their minds, and it was against that background that I approached you to ask if I could be a temporary chair. And you just said yes. No strings attached. And it was truly such relief that you would give me a go when I had nothing to trade for the opportunity. Only my experience and my passion to do a good job. So, Mr President, I really thank you so much, because it has been such an honour to sit in that chair. I am sure it seems like a small thing, but it's been huge for me. I thank all members, because I have not had to name a single one of you during my entire period in the chair.
You went close.
I respect one of you went close. I respect and love this chamber, and that experience is an absolute highlight for me and one I will always cherish. I thank my local Liberals who supported me, often in bewilderment, for more than 20 years. I miss my friends who've passed away, especially Jim Carey, Paul Matt Dunbar, Pat Furbank, Betty Boland, Honor Brown and Ray Firth. My Ballarat and Byron branch, especially Judy Chappell, Brian Pizzuti, my predecessor in this place, Jamie Abbott, Dennis Wynne, Ken Dodd and Anne Jacob, Jim Peters, Councillor Troy Fowler, Councillor James Owen, Terry McDermott, the Wonder Boys from Maitland, James Hanna and Zach Bayliss, Councillor Kanchan Rendive, Councillor Ben Mitchell. It just makes me so good thinking of you. My school friends from Mount Carmel and Yass, to Kincoppel Rose Bay and even Women's College, they came out of the woodwork to support me during the flood. It was incredible. In fact, I was in disbelief. I told them I've been so buried in politics for 40 years, I didn't think I had a single friend left, and yet they were there for me. Amazing. I never imagined the strength and power of the women who care, and I can tell you firsthand, the power of the sisterhood is incredible, and I am so proud to be part of it. I thank my family, my parents, who yesterday celebrated their 67th wedding anniversary, Chris Crawford, my husband of 34 years, and my sons Josh and Lachlan, both now in their 20s, thriving young men, in spite of being the original Parliament brats, having roamed this building, mostly the cafeteria, since they were babies. They have enjoyed my success and supported me in so many ways, kept me real and held me together in the hard times, and I am so grateful to them. I have had several outstanding staff members over the past 19 years, but Tasman Brown is so special and has had to carry me through a lot of turbulence and serve in the most dreadful of times, and I refer here specifically to the Northern Rivers floods. Tasman, I'm constantly being sent messages of appreciation for you. Like people, like, you do understand, Catherine, you know, like they're really passionate messages. from all of those you've helped. And I just want to add my own name to that long membership list of the Tasman Brown Fan Club. You have simply been incredible. I know many have tried but failed to steal you from me, and that loyalty you've shown me, I hope you always know, is so appreciated and reciprocated. My own North Coast community is so colourful, political, and whatever they are up to, you can always be sure it's in absolute earnest. My son's education in Alstonville and Ballina, from the bus drivers who got them to school to Rob Tobias and the amazing teachers and staff at Emmanuel Anglican School, because they backed in my boys 100% and made us feel respected and supported. I could not even have been an MP but for the help of that school, which turned my little boys and their friends into outstanding young men and women. The conservationists on the North Coast are so passionate and true. The business folk earning a fraction of their potential incomes simply to share in the privilege of raising their families in this amazing place. ABC North Coast, Joe Shoebridge, Bruce McKenzie, and I really want to add Jenny Burgess at 2ZZZ, who put up with me being so hard to reach, but always persisted anyway. We are all on the same page in our community. Janelle Saffin, Tamara Smith, Jeff Provost. And I might say, Jeff, during the floods, I heard him on radio saying, when people were kind of asking if I'd gone mad, you know, Jeff said, well, you know, Catherine Cusack has always been a warrior for our region. And I have to say, I have never felt so flattered and honoured than when Jeff said that. Thank him. We all feel the same in terms of our values and our priorities. The mayors and the councils in the Northern Rivers, I feel that after all these years, I've found such a sense of team and belonging, and this is why I'm so hopeful for my future when I leave this place. I end, as I began, paying tribute to my mentor, the Honourable Virginia Chadwick, whose final speech here was so short. And respectfully, I will do as she did, which is to leave judgment on my career to others and not detain the House with my personal commentary. I do see and feel her presence here today, and conclude, as she did, using the words of St Paul, I fought the good fight, I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith. Thank you all, and thank you for being here. Unexpected.